What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is June 19th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are, and in today's update, we've got a wide range of topics to discuss, from taking a look at cryptocurrency and equity markets, to along with that, asking a few key questions. Where are we seeing the most cryptocurrency adoption? And as the FOMC meeting comes up, are we going to see a Federal Reserve rate cut? We've got lots of things to discuss. Let's not push it off any longer right after our quick sponsor. Our sponsor for this episode is Trivala.com. Trivala is a hotel booking platform that provides a wide range of hotel bookings that can help you find your next destination. With savings up to more than 40% than other platforms, you'll be able to find stellar discounts that meet your budget, but don't take away from the experience while you're traveling. Best of all, Trivala not only accepts payments in PayPal and credit and debit cards, but they also take leading cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. With over 550,000 locations in more than 210 countries, Trivala is here to provide the travel experience you deserve. Check out the link down below in the description to learn more about what Trivala.com has to offer. All right, everyone, so let's go ahead and take a look over cryptocurrency markets. Over the last 24 hours, most cryptocurrencies are in the neutral zone, meaning that they're up, down 1 or 2%, and really not showing any serious trend. And there's not too many outliers right now that are in the double-digit range. Again, some of the best performers are Digibyte and Zcoin, peer-to-peer digital currencies. Guys, I'm telling you, the store of value and transfer of value and simple use cases currency, as well as adding some privacy and unique scalability features, are things that are going to make these projects stand out. There's the lowest regulatory scrutiny with peer-to-peer digital currencies out of all cryptocurrency use cases. The biggest ones are on IEOs and ICOs. And as we take a look at the liquidity slowly over time flowing back in September from Binance to other U.S. exchanges, the U.S. liquidity that's going to get shut off now that Binance is being closed off, those are going to be the cryptocurrencies to watch. And on the downside, nothing too serious right now, just a few players down a little bit in the red. Now, taking a look at market capitalization here, interestingly enough, we've not only been able to hold the vast majority of gains that we've had over the last few days in regards to the rally we saw from Bitcoin to 9,400, even though we pulled back to around 91 to 9,200 at the moment, we have still been able to hold the vast majority of valuations. And if we're able to hold here for the next 24 to 48 hours, I think what we're going to do is really kind of confirm support on previous resistance back from May 30th, where we had a top at around 281 billion, as the low here sitting around 284 billion. And this could give us another room for a leg up in Bitcoin to go up to 10,000. But I don't think there's too many things that are going to lead Bitcoin to 10,000 that have to do with entry of new liquidity. What I really think is going to happen is that we're going to have a little bit of a continued squeeze on altcoins here, where Bitcoin dominance might be able to revisit those levels at 60%, which is going to lead Bitcoin to 10,000. And I think that has to do with, again, the continued filtration of just altcoins in general. There's still a lot of overvaluation in some coins, but at the same time, you've got the Binance removal of U.S. customers. This is going to probably remove a good amount of value from some of the IEOs and the ICOs over the longer term of things. And some of that gets priced in, even though Binance isn't closing off until September, guys. Larger investors who can't make moves overnight are going to start moving those positions. It's just how these markets work, because when you're dealing with a lot of capital and relatively illiquid markets, which have $1 to $10 million of volume on your daily pair, you don't want to incur serious slippage. So people start to reallocate those positions, start moving them for the next big move on other exchanges. Now, to go ahead and do a real quick summary in regards to kind of the big events going on right now, taking a look at some of the major things such as airdrops, updates, things that sort on CoinMarketCal. The major things that I wanted to mention is that in the sense of altcoins, we've got 2 hard forks coming up for Einsteinium and the Haven protocol. Outside of that as well, the product launch and the new roadmap release for LTO network. I've heard a lot of people talk about LTO, and I've got to still do a little bit of research on it, but I know many people out there who have used DEXs such as IDEX have got LTO and have looked into the network. They've got some interesting concepts from last time I read. And then taking a look here as well, on the second page here, going into the later part of June, you've got a few major things such as a wallet update for Grosso Coin, going down as well. Another wallet update for Pivx, mandatory wallet update by the date of June 24th. I know we had some Pivx fans in the community, so I wanted to make sure that was clear. And also node release here for the Waves platform. So again, nothing too severe in the sense of events right now for cryptocurrencies, especially not for any of the major protocols right now, but a good amount of meetups and everything. So if you have one in your area, guys, I recommend you guys try to see if you can find some interesting events here. There seems to be a lot of really cool ones for protocols as the market has started to fire up again and developers have been churning away and been building some really interesting applications. So as I promised to you guys, I'm going to be making a video. I already technically already made it, but I'm going to be posting it later on tonight in regards to talking about Libra and the Facebook supposed cryptocurrency. Now, before I dive into this news piece I want to talk about that just speaks to the continued ignorance of U.S. politics, I want to make something very clear to you guys. In that video, I'm going to emphasize one key point that I hope you guys stick around and watch the whole thing, because I know this is a very controversial topic, and I tried to, take a neutral approach to it. So I did, the title of it is going to be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I really recommend you guys, make sure to hit the bell icon and subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss that video. And if you could, watch it all the way through before engaging in it, guys. I tried to provide a really good neutral educational viewpoint on it. But that being realized, I hope you'll see that. The fact of the matter is, regulators, who we've been trying to bring to the table to talk about crypto and have very sparsely talked about it over the last few, years, or we've tried to get them to talk about it and care about it, now all of a sudden really care about cryptocurrencies because Facebook is launching their own supposed crypto, right? And you got politicians. I mean, first off, before I dive into this, guys, I'm not meaning to get too political. I have a general hatred of most career politicians. You've probably gotten that from my content over time. And that goes for both parties. I think U.S. politics is so inefficient, from studying politics all the way back since 2011. It was a core passion of mine. That being realized, as much as I want to criticize Facebook in some regards for its other practices outside of the Libra and social media and big tech in general, and most of the big companies in the United States, I gotta say, I really don't think Congress or any congressional representatives have any room in trying to detail what Facebook can and can't do. Because we saw during the whole Cambridge Analytica storm and the data privacy storm that people were so concerned about, where Congress had Mark Zuckerberg and other big tech executives in front of them. They had a moment to shine and ask them some serious questions. They don't even understand how these platforms work. They don't understand how they monetize themselves. They don't understand how they manage data, what kind of data is vulnerable on these platforms, what actually happened in Cambridge Analytica. And along with that as well, they have no idea how to fix it. Okay? And for them to try to step up and stop a company, in the case here for Maxine Waters claiming that she's trying to get a moratorium on any movement forward on developing a cryptocurrency, or Facebook's crypto in this case, the Libra, until they examine the issues and take action as to understanding what Libra is. It's just pure ignorance. How do you think Maxine Waters or any 50, 60, 70-year-old congressman or woman is going to actually do anything effective over the Libra? I mean, give me a break. These are the people who have set the state of governance in place that has built a framework where, if, for example, as I'll mention in the video, if someone wants to send a remittance payment home to family between most countries of $100, they're going to be paying $10, $20, $30 in that archaic system. And along with that, they might be flagged as a money launderer. They need to be scanned and vetted first before they can send that little bit of money to their mom in Puerto Rico, who they've done time and time again and is from money from their paycheck, right? This is the kind of archaic system they're worried about getting removed from. And that's a very positive point I'm going to talk about in the Libra in my video, in the sense that this is just such an archaic framework that we're up against. And they will do anything to protect it. And trust me, it's not because they care about it, it's because, or care about the well-being of people. It's because they got fat lines of pockets that are trying to stand defense of the archaic system. You want to know who's the biggest sector to lobby? It's not oil companies. It's not big pharma. It's the financial and credit institutions. Elizabeth Warren said that back in the early 2000s. There's a good clip of that. I think you guys should go check that out. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what is the biggest region for cryptocurrencies. Now, you all know I have been literally just like have a bat, and I've just been beating a dead horse here. You all know that I have been talking about Latin America. I've been talking about Venezuela and Argentina and Brazil like I'm going insane. And I mean, there's a reason for it. It's where cryptocurrencies are really most needed. And there's been a recent study created by Statica. I always mispronounce that. Statista, sorry. Statista, I don't know. Basically, one of the major data websites that has a vast range of data on all types of different things, and is a very reputable source. And they've actually claimed that Latin America and Turkey have the most cryptocurrency users at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look directly at the data, get a little bit visual here. Outside of Latin America, Turkey is leading in the sense of a per population basis. They surveyed, I think, around 1,000 people per country. And they found that within the people they surveyed, that over 1/5 of the population they surveyed in Turkey had either owned cryptocurrencies or utilized cryptocurrencies in some way, shape, or form. And we can see across the board that's true in a lot of different countries here, from Brazil to Colombia to Argentina to South Africa. I mean, these are the countries that you would expect this to be in, right? We've talked about the South African rand going through the currency crisis and the Argentinian currency, Brazil as well. Again, a lot of major South American countries here, and also in other areas such as Colombia and Chile. So we've talked about this multiple times in the past, but you've also got some countries as well in Asia. You've got China and Indonesia, and going down the list as well, you have your Western markets such as the US, UK, and Australia. And then also, surprisingly, Japan at 3%. That was what really blew me away when I saw the study. I don't know why it'd be at 3%. Japan's kind of seen as like the haven for Bitcoin and, Bitcoin merchant adoption. But I'll be fair, Japan's got a very large population, and I guess it would be more concentrated in the sense of the use of cryptocurrencies in Tokyo and some of the major cities. I don't think it'd be adopted very much in the rural areas. But again, very surprising to see this kind of overwhelming representation in other countries, but not in Japan, which has been usually, very, very much seen as an optimistic place for cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. All right, so taking a look here at traditional markets, guys, in regards to the news, we can see here we are up and coming on today's FOMC meeting. It is today on June 19th, and this is going to be a deterministic point. Are we going to see a Fed rate cut? Well, on this article here on Bloomberg, states that the Fed is in no, kind of rush to cut rates, and that this meeting, the FOMC meeting, is probably going to bring about Powell leading everyone to say, hey, we're considering cutting rates. Now, I think this is what people are on the bearish side are probably antithesis. I'll be fair. I would very much, be open to the idea that Powell's going to do something like this. He's had many times where he basically tries to play both sides. And that basically is by doing nothing. And he'll basically say, we're not going to stop the roll for the balance sheet. We'll keep things normal as intended. We're also not going to raise rates, but we are keeping open to cutting rates in the future. And basically what that does is it benefits the dollar because there's no serious rate cut. But along with that, you have in this case the play up on equities. He tries to find a balance between currency stability or currency strength of the dollar against other currencies and also equity markets. He wants to play both sides. The problem with it is that the market right now, from the looks of it, is pricing in that he's going to cut rates. Again, you could have different opinions on this, guys, but Powell himself, if he doesn't actually go about cutting rates, is going to cause a pretty decent shakeup. Now, the U.S. Fed is much more strong comparative to other major central banks. The ECB and the Bank of Japan have much more quantitative easing that they need to cut, which is going to cause a damper on their equity markets and in global growth abroad. But in the sense of equity markets right now, equity markets have moved up as much as they have over the last few weeks, really over the last 2 weeks and stuff since back here in early June, due to the fact that the Fed has looked like it's going to be pricing in 2 to 3 rate cuts this year. If it doesn't make one of those now, that's going to be a damper for equity markets because all of the fears that were present back down here are still present. The only thing that changed is the Fed's tone about cutting rates. You still got the China trade war. You still got global uncertainty with Brexit, what's going on in Hong Kong right now. the currency crisis going on. We're just about to uplift more sanctions on Turkey and the United States. So that's going to put a damper on the lira, the Turkish lira, and all kinds of other currencies. So again, not much has changed. So if this global fear is rooted in some decent certainty with the worry of tariffs and all kinds of other things, and global tensions as well, growing tensions in Iran, you know, we need a rate cut, basically speaking, to keep the equity markets afloat. I personally don't want to see an basically a rate cut. I'd like to see equity markets pull back, A, from an investor standpoint, because I'm not really exposed into equities, but B, more importantly, this thing's overextended. And it would be good at this time period to get a full 30% correction and possibly give some room for this to just continue from there on out and not have a severe 40 to 50% correction and dampen the economy. This would just bring us back down to where we were before and a little bit lower, down here like the 5,800 point range in the NASDAQ. I think that would be really healthy to see. Apparently, Jay Powell and his cronies on Wall Street don't seem to want to allow that to happen. So it's just as if, you know, you just keep filling up the punch bowl, right? I guess that's what we always say on the channel. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. I'd like to know what you all think down below. I'll be fair with you all. They better cut rates. You know, if they don't, markets are going to not take the answer of, oh, we're considering cutting rates. No, they need rate cuts now. This month and over the next 2 months is a severe time where they're going to need some economic relief, where there's going to have to be a better risk to reward ratio for purchasing equities at these levels, where capital is cheaper. The cost of capital and borrowing capital is cheaper in order to weigh out, you know, how much am I going to pay in interest on my capital on an annual basis, and how much can I expect to make off that capital on an annual basis. If the reward outweighs the risk, markets go up. If it doesn't, people sell. They stop borrowing and equity markets go down. The outflows start to take place. It's a very simple game of numbers, guys. Anyways, hope you all are having a fantastic day. I rambled on long enough. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.